you know, you don't see the people. So I would just like to say thank you to everybody here at Newton Hall. You won't see the workers here because they're off doing other things today, but they come in the early hours of the morning, they work late at night, and without all of their support and the support of the Partingtons themselves, we wouldn't have this here. So on behalf of myself and all my players, I'd like to say thank you to everybody here at Newton Hall and Partingtons. And we're about 1 minute before we go on air, and as I said to you, we're although we may not be on television, as most people understand it, we are streaming live, and again you can't see it, but behind the big screen up there, there's a big desk with loads of equipment on, far too technical for me, but we have 2 full-time people. And of course the camera operators. There's 2 operators here who have been volunteers all over the last 3 days. So to you 2 people, you've been brilliant. You've worked 8-9 hours a day operating the cameras. So thank you very much. It really is appreciated. And like I said, being on YouTube, we did the International Open here just back earlier on this year. And I did a count up yesterday, and we had 43,000 viewers. How's that for bowls? So that's pretty good. You know, we're achieving some remarkable things. So it is doing bowls a lot of good. And without guys like Phil and James who are sitting around the back who operate all of this, you know, it's something new for WBT. It's we do it in high definition. And again, the Partingtons put us in a special line so when it goes out of this building, people can receive it on these new smart TVs and everything else, and it just looks like a TV programme. So, you know, we are trying to bring bowls up into the homes of the many. Right, well, without further ado, we're smack on time. Let's bring out the players. And your first one, ladies and gentlemen, he's from the Tyneham Weir. He's England international and he's 6 times Liberty Trophy winner. Give a welcome to Brett Arkley. And up against Brett, he's from Menstrie in Scotland, former World Indoor Bowls Council champion, current Scottish international, it's Stephen Allen. They've played their trial ends, we'll go straight into the match and I'll hand you over to commentary with Janice Gower.
Well, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on the World Bowls Tour YouTube stream, live and in full HD for you this afternoon. We're at the Co-operative Funeralcare European Masters Finals at Blackpool Newton Hall, and this afternoon we feature the 2 semi-finals of Tour Card 2. I'm joined in the commentary box this afternoon
24.5 metres
by one of our WBT match officials, Dan Blewett. Thanks for joining me, Dan.
Thank you for the welcome, Janice.
Really interesting game here. England versus Scotland. Battle of the rivals. I did speak to the guys before. They've never actually played each other before. They've played, obviously, when they've represented their respective countries. They've played internationally against each other, but never in singles.
2 good games this morning, so hopefully 2 good games this afternoon. Setting us up for some epic finals later.
Yeah, the guys here are playing for the chance to pick up a tour card, which would give them the right to play in every one of the WBT ranking events in the next season. Both of these players have qualified for WBT events in the past. Brett Arkley quite frequently. He's got to the quarterfinals of the World Championships. He's been in the Scottish International Open. And Steve Allen qualified for the World Championships back a couple of years. I think you actually marked his game, did you, Dan?
Yes, when he played Stuart Anderson in the first round, the year that Stuart won the World Singles. Cracking game that was as well.
Two red.
Well, Brett Arkley, in his first round here, saw off the chances of Simon Skelton, who'd just dropped out of the top 16. He's standing at ranked 18. So Simon was seen off by Brett Arkley.
Three red.
Something just disturbing Steve there. Stephen Allen beats Pat Briscoe. Had a tied set and won the second set. Some really good bowls played in that game as well. So I think we're in for an interesting game here. Steve's on a great track with this bowl.
Lovely settle Steve down from his poor 2 opening bowls.
Often the opening ends settlers down as well. Well, they've both played at this level before, but so he's just settling into the game. Brett can afford to reach that last delivery of Steve Allen's, sit it out for 3. Opting to play it off his forehand. In the area for it.
Get underneath his front bowl, that's unlucky.
It's a nice crowd in this afternoon, Dan. A few appeared after the Sunday lunches.
Indeed. It was a bit bare early this morning. It was probably a little bit early for a lot of them. It's filled out now. Probably means the temperature will go up significantly out there this afternoon. It does get rather hot out there with all the lights and extra bodies.
One shot, Stephen Allen.
So Steve Allen opens the score on the first end of the first set. Scores are 1. We play 2 sets of 9 ends, and if necessary, a 3-end tie break. I think this will be quite a close game, as you mentioned before. Down the 2 games from Tour Card 1 this morning, we saw Gary Smith beat Craig Newton, and then in the second game we saw Jared Breen sneak it against John McCutcheon in a really tight game, went right down to the tie breaks. That's Tour Card 1's final, Gerard Breen versus Gary Smith. And this afternoon we'll decide what Tour Card 2's final is.
Jack length 27.5 metres.
Have we got rid of the voodoo of end 5 with measures today?
I don't know, because we had it in the first game this morning. End 5 was a measure, but we didn't have it in the second game. The second game it was ends 1 and 2, I think. I was beginning to think we were stuck with that.
For those of you who's wondering why we're talking about when the measures happened, we had absolutely nothing to do on Friday in the 4 games, no measures at all. And then yesterday, end 5 seemed to be the favourite on pretty much every game.
Every game had a measure in end 5. And we started off that way this morning, the first game up.
We did.
End 5 of the first set. And we were thinking this was going to be the pattern. It keeps us occupied seeing these little patterns happening. Well, Steve's got off to a good start here. I'm talking at lunch. He mentioned that keeping hold of the
Last
jack,
bowl is 5 inches.
maintaining the length he wanted to play, he felt was key, especially out here. Those of you that like to know what the players play with. Bowls wise, Stephen Allen plays with Taylor Ace, size 4s. And Brett Arkley has opted for the Tiger 2s out there. Tends to like Tiger 2s. It's close with this.
Fallen down on the jack.
1 red.
Still retains the shot.
And interestingly enough, both players name Falkirk Indoor as their favourite playing surface. Both like to play on the quick surfaces. I believe Falkirk are changing to a blue carpet over summer.
Your bowl is 2.5 inches and the other's 2 3/4.
It's a close one then.
Some accurate measurements there from our marker for this game, Mike Davis. Our umpire is Francis Fletcher, as the other match official for this week is sat next to me in the commentary box. Process of elimination there, Dan.
Having a break.
And close again.
Nothing in Steve's way here for a draw on the backhand. Gave him push the jack through. No real danger there.
We were talking about deliveries earlier today, and I don't know whether you agree with me, Dan, but I think Steve Allen's is very, very similar to one Alex Marshall MBE's delivery. Very, very similar stance on the mat and delivery.
Not dissimilar. I think we could probably hide most of the bowlers' faces and still know who they were.
Yes, it's
They're very distinctive, some of these bowlers.
well, he's down a good track again. Might just be a little bit short, a bit chicken. Save he said.
1 shot, Brett Hartley.
That ties the first set up after 2 ends at 1-all. It's going to be the tight game that we anticipated here, I think. Both players have got supporters in the crowd here today. Spoke to 1 or 2 of Stephen's supporters before I came into the commentary box, and they said I could mention there's uncles, aunts, nieces, girlfriend that works out there to support him today, and many at home watching him as well.
Jack length 24.5 metres.
Brett's dad comes to all his games with him. He'll have a lot of support back in the Stanley Club.
Interesting that Brett favours Falkirk as his favoured green. But a lot of people favour Stanley, his home green.
Well, again, he's been very successful at Falkirk, but he likes the quicker surfaces. I think when he qualified for the tour card last year, I don't know why I'm saying I think, because I know when he qualified for the tour card last year, it was actually at Falkirk he won that. This one, to get here, he won at Carlisle. But last year he definitely played at Falkirk. Guess who he beat in the final?
Couldn't possibly think,
I know,
Janice.
he was my jinx for quite a while, was Brett.
Your bowl, the gap is about 5.5 inches and it's 8 inches short of jack high.
Then the following year they took away the final and had the 2 semi-finals as 2 qualifiers going through, so just my luck.
You'd have got through the previous year then.
Well, Steve's close here.
Gets around the back of his own bowl, is very, very close.
And great bowl.
1 green.
Brett should just really be looking down his forehand here, turn his own bowl into the head, change it a little bit. He doesn't want to be overweight.
Now if he's slightly narrow though, he can probably tap on the back of Steve's shorter bowl and maybe remove the shot currently, but that line looks a little bit on the right line for his own bowl. Great effort. Oh,
Oh, what a bowl.
how did he get through that
Bowl for
One
bowl
red.
stuff here from these guys.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think Steve's right to just come and have a quick look at this. These games are so important. Every end's going to matter.
Don't think anybody would have put money on Brett's last bowl being now the shot bowl. Don't know how he managed to squeeze through that gap.
Depends on the angle of where the shot bowl is now as to whether Steve might play this down the forehand. He doesn't want to take his own bowl out the head, but a touch on or a tap on Brett's bowl would actually bring the jack out his bowls, and that's what he's opting for.
Looks a bit wide for it. Good wait for it, but just
That's
too much
not in a
green.
bad home though for his next delivery either.
should imagine Brett will be going around the back to cover that slightly, getting past his furthest bowl.
Brett won't mind me mentioning, before this game he had a slight wardrobe malfunction. He did laugh and he said you're perfectly allowed to mention it in the commentary box. He split his trousers in the practice session, so we had to have a bit of a run round to find some safety pins. I asked him if he minded me mentioning it in commentary, and he said it might put off viewers or might make more viewers. So there you go. It was quite funny at the time.
Let's hope it stays together for the duration of this game.
Well, Brett doesn't carry any weight either, so it's not normally somebody as slender as Brett Arkley that manages to split the pants.
Perhaps he was doing his warm-up stretches at the time.
I didn't go as far as to ask him how he did it.
One shot, Brett Arkley.
I think there was a little bit of danger there for Steve Allen, so perhaps decided that having the one shot against him wasn't a terrible finish to the end. So Brett Arkley leads after 3 ends, 2-1. All in one shots at the moment.
Jack length 25 metres.
Oh, good opener there from Brett Arkley. Certainly one of the most consistent players on the circuit. And again, Steve Allen's one of the most consistent players on the Scottish circuit. Very proud to play internationally for his country.
One down, one green. It's an inch and a half the gap, and it's 2.5 inches past jack high.
Some viewers may be wondering why we can be so quite precise with our distances. Of course, we know jack sizes and bowl sizes, our own feet.
One green.
All help us to determine.
It's short of jack high is 11 inches.
Of course, Dan, if these players progress to the ranking tournaments, they then play under the shot clock, which gives them 30 seconds to deliver a bowl. So therefore, information from the markers is essential.
Absolutely. Has to be right first time.
And quick. It's
Yes, without doubt.
you're virtually preempting what the questions are going to be, yeah.
Yep. Looking at all the bowls as they're coming up, taking a mental note, keeping track as you go along. Because quite often you might get a question about their first or second bowl on their last.
Oh, he's looking to just use his own bowl to get onto shot bowl here. Just a bowl under the line really for what he wanted.
One green.
Steve Allen will play down the backhand here. Try and draw another one in.
Close one here by Steve, if it runs. Not quite enough.
Well, I think Brett can play something similar, really. Don't know if he's got 2 seconds there at the moment. Not any sort of connection. Little touch on the jack. I'll get the bowl solid. Don't think he'll play it with a lot of weight. Pick his hand, really. Stick into the backhand. Just a slight alteration on his last delivery. Oh, this looks wide.
It's
It's finishing well.
Good connection here.
I think the jack was second prize, really. He was after the bowl. Bowl just hung off. There'll be quite a bit of room there, I think, for Steve Allen to draw this.
Don't know where the jack's gone. Oh, it's come back on the respot. Steve's got loads of room to draw in now.
He'd be putting money on himself here to draw a shot. Plenty of room there. They do practice playing to the respot. In fact, he was doing that just before the game.
One shot, Stephen Allen.
So another count of 1. We now have the scores tied at 2-2 after 4 ends of this first set. Yeah, really good game. £27.5 metres, do we think?
I should imagine somewhere around there. Brett favouring the shorter. Length's 24. Stephen favouring the medium to long.
Jack length 28 metres.
It's gone that little bit further. I was just about to say there's not been that many players this week that have played tee to tee a full length.
I think we've only had one game where sometime yesterday, can't remember who it was now, who was playing the long length. So it might have been Carl Fountain.
Carl Fountain
yesterday.
Carl Fountain against Philip Last.
He did favour those long jacks.
Oh, good start here from Steve again. Yeah, young Carl Fountain just lost out in the tie break to Philip Last. Philip Last features in our next semi-final this afternoon. He plays the Iceman Robert Chisholm. He's urging this one on. He must think it's going to be short.
2 green.
Not a bad bowl for a bowl that a player thought was short. Must be a perfectionist out there.
I'd be happy with it.
Brett looks on a high line here. It's working back for him, but I don't think it'll just quite do enough. And he doesn't like this one. Still chances for Brett here, just take a couple of feet out of his last delivery. Draw past that short bowl of Steve Allen's. This looks a very good track, Dan. Looks in the area with this.
Yeah, if he gets past Steve's front bowl. Another inch of turf, he'd have got round that comfortably.
2
That was
green.
good. Steve Allen wants to be careful now he doesn't reach into that bowl and turn it. There's plenty of room still for the draw. He's on a high enough line with it. These bowls do finish well.
If he gets inside Brett's back red bowl, he'll be somewhere close, but this is a good one.
And that's put pressure back on Brett Hartley.
3 green.
Not much room for Brett to come in now. He could try and promote his own. Or
He might play a trundler down
trundler.
the forehand. He's got the best back position. His fear will be doing what he did a couple of ends ago and getting wrecked on the short green bowl, or even promoting that into the head. Needs to go probably with a little bit more weight than he normally favours.
I think so long as he misses that short green bowl, he'll be happy. Get some movement in there.
He's playing it down the backhand.
Only playing arriving weight, nothing more.
So he's looking for his own red bowl into the head here. Well, I think it's still possibly 3 there to two being conceded. Might have a measure. Guess what end it is, Dan?
No, not again,
Yeah,
surely.
end 5. Can't believe that, folks. End 5. And we're calling on Francis Fletcher to give us a call on which one of these bowls is closest.
2 green and a measure. Three shots, Stephen Allen.
Well, that count of 3 for Steve Allen there makes a big difference. It's been ones all the way up to that end. And it
Jack
was
line at 27 metres.
end 5 measure again. And Brett looks on a good track here. Great reply. Having just dropped to 3, you want to get back into the...
No, it's 7 inches short of jack high, and it's about just over 2.5 inches gap.
Nice ride there.
One green.
Well, it's made it. Its weight was very good. It's got a little bit of a help off his own short bolt.
It's close with this one. You can run just a wee bit more. A couple of feet was all you needed there.
Well, this'll do all this work back. That's in a good home. If it sits down, it might get a second shot.
No, still one green.
Of course, we know Brett's bowl is about 2.5 inches away from the jack. So back bowl, if it sits down, it might be close.
Well, all on the pace of this one. Has he underplayed it? Yeah, not happy with that. Really wanted to be changing something with that bowl. Steve Allen just draws to his last bowl. He might just be able to sit it down. He doesn't want any movement on the jack though. Thinks he's on the high side, but like I say, he didn't want to get back to the jack really. He was just looking to touch his own bowl down. It wasn't far off. Good back position there as well, because Brett can't afford to play with too much weight. If he catches his own short bowl when it goes back to the head, the one on the left hand side of your screen, you could actually push the jack through and drop a 3. Just looking to draw, I think, here. Don't want to cause too much of a disturbance.
Oh, nice line.
He's very close.
One shot, Stephen Allen.
Steve Allen takes another shot there. That gives him a 6-2 lead after 6 ends. I often say the 7th end is the crucial end. Steve's home club is Alouette. I'm sure there's a few people there watching this Sunday afternoon.
Jack length 26.5 metres.
He won the World Indoor Bowls Council Championship back in 2012 and won the under-25s version of it back in 2010, so no stranger to the big games singles-wise.
Didn't like that one. Turned his back.
I think if you put down a tight bowl out there this weekend, it does seem to be very unforgiving. They do move very quickly as they're finishing. Even the runners are going under the head sometimes if you're not picking the perfect line.
One red. The gap is 11 inches.
Good track here again from Steve Allen. I think that might have made two if it sat down. Steve's having a look. He's asked,
Mike, let's have a look.
he's asked for Mike Davis's opinion, so it must be fairly close. Us players often think you lot have got better eyesight than we have.
It's close, but I think it's only one. It's very close.
Mike only favouring one to red. Not always easy to gauge when you've got other bowls to look around.
Close here.
That's taken the doubt away, I think. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, it's sat itself on an angle, that bowl. I thought that would have sat down. Sometimes the bowls get themselves sat into the grip of the bowl. And they don't topple over when you think they're going to.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Steve Allen's just said. It's sat up. It's sat down. Brett Harkley's got that ball now as a target to just rest off. Doesn't want to sit it down. Ooh. Steve Allen just said one to yourself to Brett, so he's obviously conceding one shot.
Okay. One shot, Brett Harkley.
One shot to Brett Harkley means Steve Allen now has a 6-3 lead after 7 ends. So he's 3 up with 2 ends to play. Still very close, very nip and tuck this game. There's only really been that count of 3 for Steve Allen on the 5th end that's made the difference.
Jack length 24.5 metres.
Going back to his preferred shorter length.
Didn't look like he liked that one much. This looks on a good track from Steve, along the pace of this one.
Six inches short of jack high.
Both players have had to change colour of bowls from their first games. Steve Allen was red in his first game and Brett Arkley was green, which always just affects a little bit. Players have a preference for a certain colour of bowl.
1 green.
And of course, if the players don't have their own red and green set of bowls, they have the World Bowls Tour pool bowls to select from. And I do know that Brett Arkley plays with pool bowls. But the other ones he's used to playing with when he's qualified for events. Goes to qualifiers and plays with his old faithful black bowls.
Closest bowl. The gap is 8 inches.
Steve just asking how close Brett's nearest bowl is. It's a bit of a quandary as to which hand to play. Favouring his forehand at the moment.
It was a really good effort, nearly got back to the red bowl of Brett Arkley. Just on Steve Allen's player profile, he says his occupation is a machine operator at a yeast factory. That's interesting. I wonder if that involves beer at the end of it. Well, actually, it could even be whiskey, thinking about it, Scotland, yeah.
I do like bread, though.
I thought you were going to say you do like whiskey. Brett Arkley is a company director of a civil engineering consultancy, which gives him the flexibility to play really whenever he wants to.
1 shot, Steve Allen.
Well, that gives Steve Allen a 7-3 lead after 8 ends, 4 shots up with 1 end to play. I don't think he's going to drop 4 shots. Playing as well as he is at the moment, Dan.
No, my money would be on Steve to close out this set. He could be quite happy dropping a 3. Wouldn't want to, but he can afford to.
Jack length 28 metres.
Mustn't take your foot off the pedal. Set 2 is equally as important.
You need to keep going.
Of course, we don't know. Well, who won the toss? Do we know who won the toss, Janice?
I don't.
No.
They didn't indicate to begin with who did. As we've said in a lot of these games this weekend, control of the jack has been a key factor. Different players favouring different lengths, or favouring different places to put the mat. Some have played it short with the mat back, some played it short with the mat up. Fair mixture, but not many, as you mentioned before, played tee to tee. Well, the end's not exactly shaping up to look like a count of 4 for Brett.
It's closer shot. No, it's about 10 inches short.
Well, the picture in Steve's mind there, he's trying to work out how Brett's going to bring that side bowl into play and where he needs to put this bowl to stop that happening. But as it's short, it will be a struggle to do. If it had been through the jack, I think Steve would have opted to change hand, but for now he might as well pile them in.
One green.
Indeed. I think Brett will be just using this as practice now. Oh no, he's having a trundle.
Looks under the line, this.
Maybe he's having a practice trundle.
One shot and the first set to Stephen Allen.
And Steve Allen takes the first set, 8-3. It all turned on that end 5 where he picked up the 3. We've been ones all the way apart from that one count. Just shows you when you get the opportunity in these sets games. It looked like Brett was giving the jack away to Steve there because he pointed at Steve.
Indeed.
So,
Oh no, he's
no, he's opting to take it.
or is Steve giving it away?
We still don't know.
I would imagine Brett's kept it.
Well, I
I
think
would
he's got
say.
to change something, hasn't he?
Yeah. It's gone a little bit longer this
Jack
time.
length 28 metres.
It's gone to Stephen's preferred longer length. Wonder what's in Brett's mind for this.
Well, if you watched any of Steve Allen's first game, he didn't play the longer length jack. I think Steve Allen went out there to try and shake Brett Arkley's length up, and might have all very interesting where players' minds are at when they select lengths to play at. Still think it's about a confidence thing, playing a length you're comfortable with. Nope. A slight adjustment on his last delivery. Needs to just run a touch. Good ball here.
So Unusual, it fell out against the bias there.
Normally only happens if a bowl's near a seam, but that's not near a seam, and we're very fortunate here at Blackpool. The seams are very flat. This looks a wide line. Nice swingy hands here, but I don't think it'll make it all the way back from there.
1 red.
Steve just wants to tighten the line down a bit, a little trail on the jack here. First end, second set could set him up very nicely. He's just underpaced that bolt. Line was good for what he wanted, he needed another 2 feet. Not an easy shot to play, but it must have been very tempting from the mat. Brett looking to take that danger away, draw another one in down here. That's a good ball. Right, force.
Bit wider now, the head.
Yeah, force Steve to
2
possibly
red.
be a little bit more aggressive at this.
He's inside the shorter bowl of Brett's. Sorry, outside that shorter bowl of Brett's, not inside it. Contact on the left hand of the two that we can see would be good for Steve. Split's also very good.
It's worth playing. I mean, the very short bowl of Brett Arkley's will look in the way, but there's quite a distance there, and a bowl nicely swing under to get the shot bowls.
Yep, Steve having a trundle here.
He
Looks wide.
Close. He
It's
looks
wide.
close.
Oh.
Oof. Well, we were
He was
both
wide.
right. We were both right. He was close, but he was wide.
2 shots, Brett Arkley.
Well, that gets Brett Arkley on the card at the first end of this second set. He takes a 2-0 lead.
Jack length 24 metres.
Definitely favouring the shorter length here.
Or is he just trying to mix it up so that Steve doesn't get into his rhythm?
Well, looks good here. That's a very good opener from Brett Arkley. Almost the perfect bowl there, really. That's the sort of bowl you want for your lead bowl. Brett Arkley plays lead when he plays in rinks events, and he plays lead for England. Steve Allen's
2 red.
known for playing different positions. He's got every ball in his armoury. And just drop short with that one.
Still 2.
Steve needs to really get this in the head now. Doesn't want to drop another 2 or a 3 at this stage of the second set. And he's close with this, urging it on.
Good enough for second.
1 red.
Yep.
The gap, last ball, just under 6 inches.
That was a good ball from Steve because he didn't want to drop a count. Certainly tightens it up now for Brett to get another bowl in.
Playing a tighter line here, a bit more pace.
It's dangerous if halves the jack out like that.
That's very, very unlucky. But the danger was there, Janice, as you
Yeah,
say.
it was definitely there. I thought that was a very confident choice of shot. But he's dropped to 3.
3 shots, Brett Hartley.
That means Brett Hartley takes a 5-0 lead in this second set after 2 ends. Well,
Jack length 24 metres.
interesting start to this second set. Interesting choice of shot by Steve there, but he's in a confident mode, so he would be confident that he could get that right connection. Well, Steve really needs to score at this end, methinks. Not that the game's over, there's still plenty of ends left. He's just dropped a 2 and a 3 in succession. He'll want to get on that scoreboard, give himself a chance of this second set. Doesn't want to see it drifting away from him too quickly. And there you go, Brett's not going to take the foot off the pedal.
Red.
Good track again here from Brett. Good bowls.
2 red.
Steve Not be short at this. He'll be reaching into these.
He's good at it. Oh,
Well, he got one away from it.
wasn't quite the result he was after, but he won't refuse that.
Gesture of apology there from Steve. It happens in the games. So many bowls involved. But you notice that most of the players will accept that they got a bit of fortune there and just indicate to the opposition an apology.
We've all been on the receiving and giving end of those results. You win some, you lose some.
Very true.
Brett needs to be careful here. Oh. Still the one.
One red.
Yeah, it might just be the one. Which might force Steve to go again at this red bowl. Just played a runner. It's very hard then to draw within 2 to 3 inches. Might favour picking that bowl out. Yeah, he's gone to just try and play the bowl out. Well,
It's looking good.
very close
Steve
to it
likes
here.
it.
Oh, that's a confident bowl for him.
Two, he has.
On the scorecard, which is the start. Brett says it looks like 2. Asking Mike Davis for his opinion.
I think it's 2. It's very close. Well, it's close, but I think it's 2. I favour 2. Have a measure. Yeah.
Do we allow measures on third ends?
Well, why not? Give Francis something to do. Here he goes.
1 green and a measure.
Might tell us the 1 green's been conceded already. Can't see if this is in or not, but we'll soon tell when Francis. I think it's in by a long way. Yeah, it's been
2 shots, Stephen Allen.
Well, that helps Stephen's cause. 2 shots means that he claws that deficit back. And Brett Arkley now leads 5-2 after 3 ends.
Francis has recently joined us on the circuit. He had a very bad leg injury last summer, I think it was. He's been off the circuit for a number of months. This is his first time back.
Jack Lane, 29 metres.
And a big shout out to our ex-colleague Brian Daly, who's watching this over in Northern Ireland. Brian's recently retired from the WBT after 20 years exemplary service. We'll miss you, Brian. Anytime you want to come back, you'll be welcome.
All I can do is ditto that, yeah. Brian, we miss his smile around the place. He'd be entertained by this fifth end measure situation.
And he'd be dancing to all the music.
Oh, very true.
Like we are in the con box.
Shh, don't tell them out there we're dancing.
Your bow is 10 inches short of jack high.
Looks like even Brett's having a bit of a dance out there, or a talk to himself anyway. Saying earlier in one of the games, in fact it was the game I think you were marking, how steady you all are for measures and removing bowls, especially when you see this camera angle go straight into a bowl. Chopped a bowl and had to remove one bowl, and
Yes, and it was almost flat, but it was in the way of another bowl. Well, the bowl in front was in the way of that measure, so we had to remove it very carefully. Eventually got it.
1 green.
I think we're all called Cool Hand Luke or something.
something like that, yep. It's even more so when it's amplified when a television focuses in. As a spectator, we sit there and we watch the bowl, see if anything moves, and there was no movement.
It's amazing though. You think you'd be under pressure. Well, you are under pressure, but thought of the audience, the cameras, the players.
2 green.
You ignore it. You get on with the job.
And that's exactly, you're right, you're just doing a job that you're used to doing.
No, just the one.
For these levels, not wanting to put you under any pressure, but obviously there's big winnings at stake here.
Yes, indeed. We don't want to make the wrong decision or the wrong movement.
Well, Brett's opting to try and just shuttle something about here.
So you might get that gap.
He's just played it just under. Nearly straightened up. Well, Steve Allen will be quite happy to claim those 2 green bowls, but Brett's put that last bowl in a very good position.
Brett's still got one more bowl to come as well.
I think Steve might actually leave those 2 bowls alone and try and cover this last bowl of Brett Arkley's. I don't think he won't want to open the head up any. Sometimes you just have to sort of settle for what you're holding and hope that the opponent doesn't play the trail shot to perfection. This is coming to a good home.
Yeah, he's covered that side. Can only cover one side, obviously, with one bowl. That's obviously the side the jack's going to go.
Makes you look silly when you do it.
That's right, you've got to cover it.
Well, I think Brett's got a similar sort of shot here.
Could only make it bigger.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
Just wanting to chunk into those bowls, choosing to play it off his backhand. Again. Now, does he get the right connection this time?
2 shots, Stephen Allen.
Well, that really changes this set. Brett Arkley's lead's been cut now to just 1 shot, and after 4 ends he leads 5-4 in this second set. Steve Allen won the first set 8-3. So Brett Arkley has got to win this set to take us into a tie-break and to keep himself in this Co-operative Funeralcare European Masters Finals here at Blackpool Newton Hall. It wasn't exactly sunny Blackpool out there
Jack
today.
lane 29 metres.
That wasn't too bad.
It was a bit chilly, but not too bad.
Glad we were inside yesterday and Friday though. Blimey.
Yes.
We've had some weather up here this week.
It was Friday in particular. It was there was puddles everywhere. That's why when we say sunny Blackpool, we always say it with a question mark just at the end of it, just in case. Cover our backs. You always get a good welcome at the club here.
Somebody coughing somewhere. Yes, you always get a good welcome here at the Newton Hall from all concerned. Administrators, catering staff. Catering is fantastic here.
They do a very good cake. No, it's it's my home club, and I'm very proud of the club and the catering staff. It's nice when you know you can invite people down and you know they're going to get well looked after. And they're very proud to host these events for the World Bowls Tour.
Your bowl? The shot bowl? No, the shot bowl is 5 inches past.
That all started when a venue pulled out right at the last minute, with literally 4 weeks to go before the International Open, and Blackpool pulled out all the stops to help host the event. And
Indeed.
now it's become a familiar place for these events.
Very grateful to them for that, and the Partington family, and of course all the members here that have to give up their rink for days, weeks, or at any time.
Oh, Brett's in the area here for another shot, I think. It's to run a touch. Well, Steve, interesting situation now, having just got yourself back into this set. He's now looking at possible 2 down. Well, not really sure what Steve was looking to play there. I think he was looking to just draw to his own bowl, but not that very high. He'll be disappointed with this end. Probably the worst end we've seen Steve Allen play. Big chance for Brett Arkley now. Oh, Brett looking to take that swing ball out.
1 shot, Brett Arkley.
That one shot gives him a 6-4 lead after 5 ends. Interestingly enough, at the 5th end in the first set, Steve Allen picked up a 3. Brett Arkley was looking to repeat that and get a 3 at the 5th end of the second set. A 6-4 lead still means he's got that little bit of control. A change of mind on length now.
Jack length 24 metres.
Yeah, slight change of length. Looks like a great lead bowl here. I think Steve Allen will consider himself fortunate to have only dropped the 1 at that end. He's still only 2 shots behind. We've still got 4 ends to play in this second set.
And he only needs to draw this set to go through into the final. I think he'd be looking to not go into a tie-break.
Well, I think certainly the players this afternoon want to get the games done so that they have a little bit of a break before they play tonight. The players that played this morning have got a few hours this afternoon to just have a chill out before they play.
And of course, the second semi-final that these guys will be in starts after Tour Card 1 final, so sometime around 7:30, 7:45.
Brett wants to just try and take this shot away from Steve because there's still a clear jack there to draw to. Looking good here. Great ball for Brett Hartley there. Sits down, makes life very difficult for Steve.
Steve not going to leave those around too long.
He might get a result of his own bowl here, Dan. Yep.
Yep. Another toucher.
Well, it was in the area. As the ball was coming down, it looked probably to be the best connection he could get.
One green.
I'm not sure what Brett does about this really. He's got the danger ball of Steve Allen holding best back as well. And his own short bowl's in the way of just drawing the bowl off.
He's probably looking just to get round the back to stop Steve. Perhaps making a 2 count by playing onto his own bowl and pushing the jack through as well.
It's all about the tactics in the game when you get to this stage of these important events. Don't forget the winner tonight, the 2 winners, and get tour cards into all the World Bowls Tour ranking events for next season.
Brett going right round the back to stop the
well, Steve could, at the end of the day, Steve should really be happy with the fact that he's holding 1. I mean, he won the first set. I know he was looking to try and play this to get a 2 or a 3 out of it, but maybe settling for the 1 might be the option here, Steve. 1 behind.
He's certainly thinking that way. He's thinking hard about this. He's not convinced.
Well, he's played a couple of very brave bowls in this game that have gone against him.
Yes, in the first set he dropped the 3.
It was the second
set.
end of the
second set
that he dropped the
That's
3,
right.
playing a very, very brave bowl. That didn't come off for him. I think perhaps discretion might be the better part of valour here and just accept the 1. He won the first set, so 1 behind with 3 ends to play in the second set is not a bad option, and I think that's where he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's nowhere near it.
Settling for the 1.
1 shot, Stephen Allen.
From Steve Allen, only 1 behind now. 3 ends to play. Brett Hartley 6-5 up in the second set, having lost the first set 8-3. As I mentioned before, Brett Hartley has got to win this set to go into a tie break. Steve Allen can afford to just draw it.
Jack length 27 metres.
Well, looks on a good line here. Again, they'll swoop all the way back here if they're a perfect length.
It's about 14 inches short of jack high.
So the balls will swing off this hand, so there's still plenty of room to draw around that. Just like that. Not sure if it's got shot or not. Brett quickly on the mat, so it's not given Mike Davis a chance to have a look for us yet.
Might be having a good peek from the side, I should think.
One red.
There we go. Perfect timing. This looks slightly tighter line, but he gets back to his own bowl and rests off it. Looks very
It's
good.
close here.
Very, very good for it. Well played, Steve Allen.
One green. Yeah, 3 inches.
Plenty of room, Brett. Only 3 inches to draw in.
He looks down a good line. I think he's
Looks
very
good to
close
me.
to this.
We did said he didn't
Said
want the
not
jack.
the jack.
Oh dear. Bit of bad luck going Brett's way this time.
It's one of those where it was almost the perfect bowl.
Three green.
Worst possible result.
That's a huge, huge difference. Big deep breath there from Steve Allen. Knows how much this end could mean to the outcome of this game.
Yeah, if he goes 2 ahead on this, end 8 coming up. Brett's fighting for it.
If he can just tuck this jack away, it would be even better. Just slightly overplayed it, I think.
And what seemed to be a loose first bowl from Steve, that back bowl is now counting.
Well, there's a pressure ball now on Brett Harkley. He drops a 3 here. He goes behind. How often do we say end 7 is a crucial end in a game? But Brett Harkley's perfectly capable of drawing this. Just wiping a bit of sweat from the brow there. Must be getting warm out there now. Well, the track looks very good.
Not so sure it's going to stop though, Janice.
He's shouting at it to stop.
Oh, it looks good.
What a good ball under pressure there from Brett Harkley.
One shot, Brett Harkley.
Breathe a sigh of relief, I think.
So he's now 7-5 up, is Brett, after 7 ends in this second set. He's 2 up with 2 ends to play. Mr. and Mrs. Kearsley in the background there, great supporters of the game of bowls in the club here, part of the Partingtons group. In other words, the owners.
Jack
the
length
bosses.
26.5 metres.
Doff my cap every morning to them.
Very true.
Yes, the Partingtons are great supporters of this bowls hall here. Having built it 30 years ago.
Yeah, we're into our 30th anniversary this next season, I'm told by the manager here, Jonathan Goodall. It was the animal houses for the Tower Circus. Mr. Partington, George Partington, there's a picture of him on the office wall as you come into the club. Loved bowls, simply just loved bowls, so decided to buy the building and put in a bowls arena.
One red.
There used to be another club in Blackpool called Blackpool Borough. Sadly, that was pulled down a few years ago. A lot of people remember that because it used to hold some of the PBA qualifiers. And played Steve Allen.
One green. Yes, Brett.
Yeah, Brett asking to have a look at this. And at this stage of the game, you very rarely, especially when jacks have been moved, see players being refused to have a look. But both players will have to come up and go back together if it's after the second bolt. Well, Steve's just having a quick glance and turning round. The WBT rules are slightly different to other rules in that respect. It's able to keep the game flowing for the spectators. I think Brett's just looking to draw to this back bowl of Steve's. Might be a little bit overplayed, this, Brett. A chance for Steve Allen to slot another one in here. As we mentioned before, he only has to tie the set. He's 2 down with 2 ends to play and he's holding 1 shot.
A good line here. Falls in off his own bowl at the back.
It's coming to a good place anyway.
We're asking whether it's 1 or 2. Looks fairly close.
I think it's only 1.
Mike's not been wrong so far.
Oh, that's just jinxed it then.
I have every confidence in Mike. And all our officials.
Now, as I mentioned before, all good judges. To play with confidence. They'll say at the end of the day, Mike did say, I think it's only 1. So if Steve did decide to have a measure on it, Brett wouldn't be surprised anyway, because it was called as I think it's only 1.
Yes, at the end of the day, it's only our opinion on these things. We can offer an opinion. And if the players feel confident with our opinion, they'll accept it.
Nobody ever stood on a mat and asked you to call a shot for them then?
No. And I wouldn't tell them either.
I think I once said to Sandra McLeish when I was in a bit of trouble, give us a clue at the World Championships. She just smiled. Well, he looks close again here, Dan.
Might just get onto Brett's. Yeah.
And 1 conceded.
1, okay. 1 shot, Stephen Allen.
Final end.
So exciting stuff here. Brett Arkley leads 7-6 going into the final end. He has got to win this end, as Brett. Steve Allen only wants a 1 out of this to tie it. So 1, 2, 3 or 4 will do, Steve. Brett has got to win the end.
Steve was just taking a look at the scoreboard there, just double checking the situation. I'm sure he's fully aware what he needs to do. And of course he's got the mat and the jack, his length.
Jack length 26.5 metres.
Well, all about this opening bowl. Can he put pressure on Brett Arkley with this bowl, Steve? It's a very good track. That's a great opening bowl when you need to win an end. We've had a couple of occasions where it's been a tie-break end to go into
Inch and a
tie-break.
quarter.
That one will do Steve Allen. Won't do Brett Arkley. Brett's got to count this end.
Yes, there are good bowls and there are excellent bowls, and that was an excellent bowl. I think Steve will be running to cover sides now.
Bowl is just falling out. It's 3 inches.
Let's change it slightly with Steve's bowl falling away from the jack.
So you'd probably change it for the better for Steve.
Yeah, he's running for cover at the back.
Yeah, he wants to keep away from... That doesn't want to make a target for Brett to rest off, but doesn't want to be too far through.
That's the back covered.
You might see both these players asking after the second bowls to have a look at the angles, depending on what happens with this bowl.
Brett's not happy with this one.
No, and this might be a case that Steve doesn't ask to come up because he doesn't want to ruin his flow. I think we're going backhands over somewhere between the jack and the re-spot.
Yeah, so it doesn't make anything bigger for Brett to aim for.
Something breaking that area would be good, because Brett, now having his last bowl out there, might opt to play down the forehand.
Is this quick enough?
Well, if this runs a bit further, I think he's just going to be short, unless he's trying to block him. I don't
think he was trying that.
I think he was trying to reach that space between the jack and the re-spot. Just dropped a couple of yards short at this stage of the game. This is so important. He wouldn't want to set up a target for Brett. That'll be in his mind. 3 inches to draw this.
It's a better track this time from Brett. But has Steve played a corker with that previous bowl? Well. In the end, it turned out to be a good bowl.
It did. He'll tell us afterwards that he put it there on purpose, of course. Always get a smile out of Steve. Very good with the spectators, likes to have a bit of a natter. And Brett Arkley's well liked here as well, because he plays here quite often over a season. Just having a bit of a smile to himself there. Don't know, apart from the perfect draw, what Brett Arkley's really got on shot-wise.
Doesn't know what to do.
That's a question I've asked the audience. No idea what to do. I think if I was Steve, I think I'd be leaving Brett to say, go on, you draw to 3 inches and you deserve this set.
He's asked the audience, has he got 50-50 and a phone a friend left? Just looking to cover that side like he did with his previous bowl. Not giving him that's pretty good.
Well,
it's in the eye. That's all you can say, I think, on that one.
Yeah, it's working out. I don't think there's an angle. Brett's shortest bowl might, if he plays it through the head, flick shot ball out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the perfect dead draw off his backhand.
Just picked up on the microphone there that Steve didn't really know what to do there.
Well, this bowl to stay in the European Masters finals, or do we see Steve Allen take his place in the final tonight?
It's another good track, but again, Steve's third bowl.
One shot, second set, and a match for Stephen Allen.
So Steve Allen wins that game, draws the second set, having won the first set 8-3, and takes his place in the final. Join us after the break for Philip Lass versus
Well,
Robert
once more,
Chisholm.
ladies and gentlemen, give both players a round of appreciation for a fabulous game. Well, gentlemen, an absolutely cracking game you gave us this afternoon. I'll come straight to you, Brett. Watching everything, you've been here before. I know you're going to be disappointed, but can I just say that your bowling was just really, really good. I hope you're going to have another go.
Oh, definitely, I'll be back. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to say too much, Brett. I know you're going to feel disappointed. Well, come all the way down here. Can I just ask how you feel coming through this one against Brett?
Absolutely delighted again. I came down hopeful of getting to the final, and obviously I wouldn't be playing in it if I didn't think I would be able to get the tour card. But it was a fantastic game. Brett put me under all sorts of pressure at the second set. A couple of good conversion shots for myself kind of kept me in the set. So just absolutely delighted to get through.
Well, I noticed again in the last end there, strategy came into play. You had one on the jack. Brett was right behind you with another bowl. You had one further on down, and I noticed that you played strategy and played two short bowls, which are right in scoring line. Now, it's not often we see players use strategy to that effect. Is that part of your game or something that Brett forced you into because of the way he was playing?
I kind of forced myself into it after my first bowl. I was absolutely delighted with my first bowl to finish three inches short of the jack. Couldn't ask for a better bowl when I was just needing a one. I just felt Brett was drawn pretty well on that backhand all game. And I thought maybe just instead of building the head up and making it easier for Brett, I thought why not try and just block the hand. It worked with my first bowl. And then I thought I could see a shot that maybe might have played on the forehand, so I thought I didn't really know where to put the balls in the end, but it seemed to work.
Well, gentlemen, it was a cracking game from both of you. You know, Brett, be good to see you back, and well done. I'll see you in tonight's final. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's bring your players on. This gentleman's from Ipswich, and he's a consistent qualifier on the PBA circuit with several county honours. Please give a warm welcome to Philip Last. Good game, Philip. And up against Philip, ladies and gentlemen, he's from Swansea with several Welsh national titles, and he's just outside the world's top 16 in the world rankings. Please welcome Robert Chisholm. They played the trial ends. We'll go straight into the match, and I hand you over to commentary with Janice Gower.
Well, thank you, Richard. And we've had 3 very, very good semi-finals so far, and this on paper looks to be another cracking game. Robert Chisholm, currently ranked 24 in the world, really wants this tour card, get him into all the ranking events of next season. Give himself a chance of getting into the top 16.
At length, 29 metres.
Meanwhile, Philip Lass out there to try and stop him doing that. Wants the tour card himself, was a runner-up here 2 years ago. Lost out to Gary R. Smith, who's currently sitting in the other final tonight. He's in the other half of this draw. And Philip Lass himself qualified 3 times for the World Championships, won many titles, been to the Scottish Open and in the International Open qualifier. Both these players went to tie breaks in their first games. Philip Lass played the young man from Poole, Carl Fountain, who impressed everybody here, played well. Enjoyed his time here. We'll be looking to try and get back at some point. Philip beat him 2-0 on the tie break. And Robert Chisholm played Mark McPeak from Belfast last night, last game on. And played probably the shot of the tournament with his last bolt. Last end of the tie break, ditched the jack with his first bolt. And it was unbeatable. So he won the tie-break 2-1, which sets up
One
this
red.
semi-final of Philip Lass versus Robert Chisholm. Those of you that like to know what these players play with, if you don't already know, Robert Chisholm plays with Henselite Classic 2s. Philip Lass plays with Drake's Pride Professionals.
Two red.
Chisholm just looking to play down at this, can promote his own ball into the head or get to Philip's ball. He's just hanging off on that line. Chance for Phil Lass to draw for 3 shots here, which would be a great opening start to this game. He'll say himself he didn't find his pace at all in the game yesterday. Felt he probably robbed young Carl Fountain of the game by just hanging on in there and playing some good bowls in the tie break. One of the steadiest players on the circuit. Frequent qualifier. Yep.
3 shots, Phil last.
Phil opens up with a count of 3. So one of the steadiest men on the circuit. Meanwhile, Robert Chisholm, he won the Welsh International Open back in 2009 that was. And he won that as a qualifier, came through the qualifying and went on to actually win the title outright.
Jack length 27.5 metres.
He won one of the tour cards back in 2012. And with that managed to get to the quarter-finals of the Scottish Open. And all of these are ranking points. It stacks up to sit him at number 24 at the moment, with a huge chance of getting into the top 16 if he could get one of these tour cards and chalk up a few wins when he gets to an event. Both of these players have got good support in the crowd. Philip's got quite a number of his family here, including his wife Trudy. And Rob's got quite a few spectators out there himself, including his partner Hannah. He's looking interesting here, just finishing short.
Three red.
Well, at the moment it looks like a different Philip last turned up today, playing very steady bowls. Robert Chisholm just looking to reach that last bowl, rest off it for shot. And just finish short again. Rob's quite a quick player. Phil won't be worried by that. He's a steady player, Mr. Steady.
Three red.
No, I think Phil knows that Rob's not short of trying to change things, play into a head, so he's covering the back just in case. That might have sat in to save. Looks like a measure's being called for on the first end.
Measure that one which has been chopped up, please. That one's not in the equation.
Thank you.
Yeah, one, please.
Take this one.
Okay, we'll take the first one away again. Yeah. Thank you.
Now the markers and umpires will not remove bowls unless
1 red and a measure.
the players give them permission to do so.
Two shots, Phil last.
So Phil sets off this first set of this crucial semi-final of the Co-operative Funeralcare European Masters 2015 by taking a 5-0 lead after 2 ends. We play 2 sets of 9 ends with a 3-end tie-break if necessary.
Jack length 26 metres.
Better second bowl there from Phil.
One red. Two red. One green.
Well, Rob Chisholm won't want Philip Last to get too far away from him in this first set. What Philip looks to have on a good ball here. It's just possibly rested
green.
out.
One shot, Rob Chisholm.
Well, that gets Rob Chisholm on the card. One shot at the third end. It's Phil Last a 5-1 lead after 3 ends this first set. And second semi-final for Tour Card 2. The winner of this game will play Steve Allen in the final tonight.
Jack length 24.5 metres.
Oh, good opening bowl there from Rob Chisholm. We've been saying all weekend these games are determined by the person that hangs on to their preferred jack length. A lot of the players this weekend preferring the shorter length jacks out there. Phil Last's in the area with this one. Very good reply here from Phil. Yep, perfect. Now Rob, we've seen several of the games today. Ends change with every bowl. Been some great bowls played today. He's looking in the area with this one.
One red.
What's the gap between the shot bowl and the jack, please?
2.5 inches.
And the last bowl,
Is-
away from the jack?
Ball short of jack high, 4-inch gap.
It actually gives Rob Chisholm a little bit of a target. He can use that ball of Phil Last to get back to the jack. He's just underplayed this, I feel. Again, Rob just looking to use the ball of Phil Last to come back to the jack. It's in the area for this.
Not to clear that, please.
One shot, Phil Last.
Yeah, Phil electing not to play his last ball. Decided it was too dangerous. And takes a 6-1 lead after 4 ends in the first set. Happy to get that jack back and go back to his preferred length. Just having a think about this, I think. As his ball's returned back to him.
Jack Track length 28.5 metres.
Robert Chisholm currently plays for Wales, even though he's got a very strong northeast accent. He moved to Wales to join his partner Hannah down there, and now he's part of the Welsh international setup, and he skips a rink for Wales. Philip Lass credits mainly in the singles game. Plays a lot of the PBA events, tour cards. Very successful at the qualifiers. Both players name their favourite rinks as Stanley, one of the quicker rinks in the country. That's an unusually short and tight ball from Rob Chisholm, whether something disturbed him there. Philip Last will just be looking to reach that ball. He's very, very close here. Rest off his own ball and sit down.
1 green. Your last bowl.
What's the last ball, please, Francis?
14-inch gap.
I don't think Francis was anticipating that question. Created a bit of a chuckle out there for everybody.
One green.
Well, that wing bowl of Robert Chisholm's will give Phil Last a bit of a guide. Always nice when you get a bowl at the side where you have an idea what the length is. Just a slight adjustment on his last. Got to swoop now. Just overplayed it. Robert Chisholm's not made the most of that. There was quite a bit of room there to draw.
One shot, Rob Chisholm.
One shot to Robert Chisholm means that Phil Last, after 5 ends of this first set, leads it 6-2. But it does mean that Rob Chisholm gets to change the length of this jack, taking the mat up. It's Robert Chisholm's partner Hannah in the far corner there.
Jack length 23.5 metres.
And in the black t-shirt, it's Philip Last's wife. Daughter and mum sat there as well. So both families sitting together, supporting their player out on the rink. And Rob didn't seem to like that delivery. And Phil looks on a better track here, all on his pace with this one. Yeah, good reply that. Very good ball from Phil. Rob looking to just reach to the jack here, just falling short. Leaves Phil Last the chance of another draw. Phil will be happy to count again at this end. And Rob Chisholm just struggling to find his pace at the moment out there.
Two red.
Robert Chisholm just coming to have a look at this now. Knows he's 2 down. At end 6 if Phil Last takes a 8-2 lead. Means he's 6 up with only 3 ends to play. Rob Chisholm really wants to count at this end. Well, any connection, get rid of anything out the head, it helps. Phil Last still holds one, with 1 bowl to come.
One red.
Well, Phil looks on a good track. It might have just overplayed this. Wants to get behind and rest back. Very close to getting second.
One shot, Phil Last.
1 shot to Phil Last. He takes the lead now 7-2 after 6 ends. This first set. 3 ends left to play and he's 5 shots up. Again, we're going to that crucial 7th end. Robert Chisholm needs to get back in here. Give himself a chance in this first set. If Phil Last wins it, it puts him in very, very strong position going into the last 2 ends.
Jack length 28.5 metres.
Well, not a bad opener from Phil Last. Robert Chisholm looks on a good line here. Down to the nitty gritty of this first set the last few ends. Closer here, good ball from Rob Chisholm there.
2 green.
Might entice Phil Last to play a little bit of a changing weight here, something into the head. His own ball coming into the head. 2 against him, wants to change something with this ball. He's very close to shot ball here. Oh, would you believe it? Holes for bowls, they say, and that's certainly got a gap there. Well, Rob not making the most of trying to get another in there, but it does change Phil's last shot. Might favour playing it down the forehand now. Bit more weight. Even an edge off the left-hand side ball of Robert Chisholm's would help him. Might even take shot ball out for him. Not seen many players this weekend play with big striking weight. He's chasing this, he must like it for line.
One green.
Great saver. Interesting choice of shot from Rob here. Looking for connection to get a count. Looks like it's 2.
2 shots, Rob Chisholm.
Two shots to Rob Chisholm means that he cuts the deficit down. Phil Last now leads 7-4 with 2 ends left to play of this first set of 9 ends.
Jack length 29 metres.
Rob opted in for a 29-metre jack there. Just dropping short with his first delivery. 2 ends left to play. He's currently just 3 shots behind. He's dropping short again, I think. That's given Phil Last a huge opportunity to make amends for his first bowl. Looking better here. Yep, you can't give a player like Phil Last
Two red.
goes at that sort of space. Rob Chisholm's closer. Doesn't want to be short, wants to give himself something to play at with his last bowl.
1 red.
What is the gap, please, of the shot bowl and the second bowl, please?
Shot bowl is 4 inches gap in the front, and second bowl 20-inch gap.
Oh, Phil Last trotting up after this one. The line looks very good. His weights in the area. Yep, good ball here from Phil.
2 red.
Gap between the two balls, please, Francis.
Gap between the 2 red bowls is 8 inches.
Well, if Phil Last picks up this 2, it's set over. So Robert Chisholm's got to try and change something here. Line's very good, just going to drop under, I think.
3 shots and the first set, Phil Last.
So Phil Last picks up the first set after 8 ends with a scoreline of 10-4. We go into set 2. Robert Chisholm's got to win this set to take us into a tie break. Phil Last certainly putting together a good game out there today.
Jack length 27.5 metres.
See, credits showed there. Don't forget we're here live and in full HD on the World Bowls Tour YouTube stream. We're here for both finals this evening of the tour cards. The first one will be at 6 o'clock, which will feature Gary Smith versus Gerard Breen. And then after that final and the presentation, we'll follow the tour card 2 final. In that final, Stephen Allen is waiting for an opponent, and the opponent will come from this game. Been some great bowls here this weekend. Hope you've enjoyed the streaming and coverage.
2 green.
This means you don't have to miss a single bowl played. If you can't get here in person, we're streaming it all for you now, live and in full HD at all the WBT events. Well, there's still a bit of room there for Phil. Francis has
3 green.
Yeah, Francis has just confirmed it's 3 green. And Phil at last picked up a 3 on the first end of the first set. He won't want to drop a 3 on the first end of the second set. Bit of room there. Well, this looks a very good line from Phil. If he's got the weight adjustment. Yep, that's a better bowl in
1
there
red.
from Phil last. Right, Robert, all you have to do, it's quite easy, just tuck that jack away. Not played a bad bowl in this commentary box yet. Almost got the result off the short bowl.
1 shot, Phil last.
So the opening end of the second set, Phil last takes 1 shot and takes a 1-0 lead. Robert Chisholm certainly doesn't look comfortable out there yet today.
Jack length 27 metres.
All about putting bowls in close now. From both of them really. Robert Chisholm needing to win this second set. And Philip Last will be liking to finish this game off in 2 sets to give him a break before the final. So both of them have got a lot to play for. Set. So Robert Chisholm currently ranked 24 in the world. Big thing for him to win this tour card, give himself a chance of the top 16. He's close here. It's a great effort from Rob Chisholm this.
1 red.
Gap of the first 2 bowls, please.
4 inches gap in front, 5.5 second bowl.
of mind on hand to play this ball. His own wing green ball will look tempting down there to just rest off. Just underplayed it. Not the easiest shots for Phil last either here. He wants to reach to that green bowl, rest off it. He could get a 2 out of it, but he won't want to chop onto his own short bowl. He's looking to cover. Decided to let Rob play the shot if he can. Make sure he's got the cover in there for if the jack goes back.
One shot, Phil last.
Well, Phil at last picks up 1 shot in the second end of the second set and takes a 2-0 lead.
Jack length 25.5 metres.
At this end it's Phil Last that's just struggling for his length. He's set the jack there. Robert Chisholm's found it.
2 green.
Philip chasing this, he must think it's in the area. It looks to just be dropping short, possibly overcompensated there.
Three green.
3 shots to Robert at the moment. Interesting that this was the length that Phil last set. Well, is he any further? Well, Rob Chisholm, big chance here. Counter 4. We say 4s aren't easy to count at this level. When you get the opportunity, you've got to take it. He didn't like that. His slap of the thigh.
Yep. 4 shots, Rob Chisholm.
Well, Rob Chisholm takes a 4 at the third end of this second set, which takes him into the lead, 4-2. He lost the first set 10-4, so he's in the set he has to win. Now, interestingly enough, that length was the length that Philip last set, as he'd won the prior end. Will Rob Chisholm trying to find that length again? No, he's gone
Jack
for the
length 28.5 metres.
longer length jack again. Thought he might have tried to find that length that Phil had just taken him on where he picked up a 4. It's a poor opener from Rob Chisholm. These things happen. Made a very, very good adjustment to it. Correction.
One green.
Well, in the area again here.
Two green.
Philip's just going to slip past. Not in a bad place for his last delivery. Gives him another option. And good ball there from Rob Chisholm. Changes the angles of the head as well.
Three green.
You might see Philip last reach into these, split them. Needs the edge.
3 shots, Rob Chisholm.
Well, that 3 gives Rob Chisholm a 7-2 lead after 4 ends in the second set. He's battling his way. Playing some good bowls now, Rob.
Jack length 26 metres.
Oh, he's definitely messing about with the length here. He's gone back to a 26 metre jack. And again dropped his first delivery short. That puts a lot of pressure on yourself if you're not getting that first delivery in. Reply by Phil, just running through a touch. But if you can correct like that, ball there from Rob Chisholm.
Gap between the 2 bowls is 10 inches.
Well, Phil's really got to get one in the area now when he looks to fall
2 green.
short. What a difference a set makes. Robert Chisholm's come on to a very good game in this second set. Struggled a little bit in the first. Has turned. Important ball here for Phil last. Doesn't want to drop another 2. Needs to get into those 2 shot bowls ideally. Push the jack through.
2 shots, Rob Chisholm.
And those 2 shots. Put a 4, a 3 and a 2 over the last 3 ends. Takes Rob Chisholm 9-2 in the lead in this second set. 7 up with 4 ends left to play. I think we might be looking at a tie break the way it's panning out at the moment. Phil Last certainly played very well in the first set. Robert Chisholm's picked up his game and played exceptionally well in the second set. All
Length
about
28 metres.
hanging in there, battling your way through ends and taking your opportunities when they arise. Good opening bowl again by Rob. Still a bit of room for Phil here. Desperately wants to try and get this jack back. Try and get himself firmly on the card. A couple of shots here would help the cause. This is a good ball coming in now.
1 red.
Well, body language said Rob Chisholm didn't like that. Just looks to be running past. I think he's getting
1
away
red.
with only being 1 down at the moment. A big opportunity here for Phil Last to slot in another. Close the gap on Rob. Well, looks a good line. Somebody's obviously asked to phone a friend out there.
2 shots, Phil Last.
2 shots to Phil Last. Takes him to 4. Rob Chisholm's on 9. So there's a 5-shot deficit now with 3 ends left to play. Phil Last won the first set 10-4. So only needs to tie this second set.
Jack length 28.5 metres.
Well, we're getting down to the working end of this set, 7th end. Good opening bowl here from Phil last. Good ball again. This is what he needs at this point in time, and it's not what Rob Chisholm needs. Close with this. Oh, that's a great ball from Rob Chisholm under pressure there.
1 green.
Phil last holding 2 shots.
What's the gap between the 2 bowls, please? The first 2 bowls, the gap between the bowls, please.
Gap between the bowls is 2 inches.
Thank you. Lovely, that's all right.
Well, from that, Phil will have realised that if he does catch his own bolt, it will take Rob's out of the head. Doesn't like it. I think he might have just overplayed it. Didn't want to be short. And the problem when you don't want to be short is you tend to just overplay bowls. Robert Chisholm will look to just tuckle this jack away. Able to just catch that bowl before he was about to deliver it. Reset himself. Well, a big bowl here for Phil last. Opportunity to chop that bowl of Rob's out of the head if he gets down onto his own red bowl. But if he misses, the set's virtually slipped away. Well, he's put this down on a tighter line. If he's given it more weight, he's got a chance. Just underplayed that.
Sorry. 1 shot, Rob Chisholm.
So Robert Chisholm takes count of 1 there, which gives him a 10-4 lead after 7 ends. Philip last got to try and conjure up 6 shots in 2 ends if he wants to tie this set and take the match in 2 sets. But the way it looks, folks, I think we might be settling down for a very, very interesting tie break.
Jack length 26.5 metres.
1 green. Two green. One green.
That's all that Rob really needs. 2 would be even better for him. He's close here again.
2 green.
I'm not quite sure how Philip Last's going to conjure up a 2 out of, or a 3 out of this. That's what he needs. The way it sits at the moment, we're going into a tie break. This bowl to save a tie break. It's very close.
One shot for last, second set, Rob Chisholm, match tie break.
One shot was not enough. We now go into a match tie break.
Tail it is.
I'll give it to Rob.
Phil won the toss, has elected to give Rob the jack on the first end.
So Phil Last won the first set 10-4. Robert Chisholm tied up the second set 10-5. And we now go into what could be a very, very interesting 3-end tie break. Remember, this is the best of 3 ends, so no shots count. It's all on who wins the end. First player to win 2 ends takes their place against Steve Allen in the second final evening. Been an interesting game this so far.
Length 26.5 metres.
Definitely been a game of 2 halves. And who will find the form for the tie break? Well, that's a good opener from Rob Chisholm. Philip Last looks down a good track here as well. Might just be shy for weight.
Gap with last hole on the jack, please.
5 inches.
Well, the last ball of Rob Chisholm's presents itself to Phil Last as something to rest on. All on his weight with this. Track looks very good. That sits down.
1 green.
Still one to Rob. We want to take that ledge away from Phil. Just tuck the jack away if he can. Oh, the perfect bowl there from Rob.
1 green.
Well, Phil was looking to open it up at that point in the end. He saw it building up against him. Leaves him only 1 bowl left, but when he takes 1 bowl to count at the breaks. Rob didn't want to make the target any bigger. Done a positional back bowl. Covers the re-spot. It's just behind where Phil last stood there. And the back position. Not sure if all 3 of the green bowls will go, leaving the red bowl, but that's what Phil last looking at. Well, Phil. He's played it with a little bit more controlled weight. Right, just hold off for him. First end to Rob Chisholm.
First end, Rob Chisholm.
First time really in the game that Rob's been in the lead and control. He's giving the jack to Phil last here. Fancies himself with his second bowl. If we retrack to the tie break last night, when he gave Mark McPeak the jack, Mark McPeak set up a short length. Put a 6-inch jack high bowl up, and Rob ditched the jack with his first bowl and it was unbeatable.
Jack length 24.5 metres.
Is Phil Lass going to oblige with something similar for him today? Good opening bowl from Phil, just behind. Great track here. Chisholm's certainly come on to a good game this second half of this semi-final.
Yes.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, Phil's asking to have a look at the end. This is an end he's got to win.
2 green.
And Robert Chisholm's gone to a great game in the second half of this semi-final and really turning the screw now. 2 bowls to keep himself in this European Masters Finals, sponsored by the Co-operative Funeralcare and hosted by Blackpool Newton Hall. I'm just opting for the draw here. I thought he might have tried to just trundle something in there and change it. Well, track looks good, Phil. Have you just overplayed it? A lot of pressure there on Phil's last bowl now.
2 green, Rob.
Robert Chisholm firmly in control here. And to add to that, he's got the last bowl at this end. Well, this bowl needs to be holding shot after this bowl comes to rest. He's just opted for the draw again, looks on a very wide line. Will swing back nicely if it's a right weight. Rob Chisholm.
Second end in the match, Rob
goes into the
Chisholm.
final. Play Steve Allen later tonight. Join us again at 6 o'clock for Gary Smith and Jared Green, the first final of the tour card, followed by Steve Allen and
Well,
Rob
once more,
Chisholm.
ladies and gentlemen, give
Thanks
both
for your company
players
this
a nice round
afternoon.
of applause. Well, gentlemen, can I say another cracking match, second match of the afternoon, and again, it's been nip and tuck for both of you, and as always, it's sorry to see somebody not quite make it. So I'll come to you first, if I may, Phil. I've seen you up and down here on several occasions, obviously not quite made it, but I actually thought you were playing well. So did you think there was an area where perhaps it wasn't quite working for you?
I was certainly better than play yesterday, so I struggled no end, but lucky to get through yesterday. But today, I played better, but I still struggled in this direction here for some reason. Couldn't nail it. Rob played better than me in this direction. Played quite well going the other way. Again, sets format worked against me today. First set, yeah, just about snuck up. Second set, Rob punished me for my errors. Again, a couple of slack ends this way, dropped a 3 and a 4, which you can't do against a man of this class. So yeah, I did play better, but still I need to improve to go further.
And hopefully, knowing you as a do, knowing how competitive you are, you'll be back for it, you'll be trying again.
We'll keep trying, yes, I'm getting no younger, but there's a lot of very good young players here, but I'll still keep trying to battle away for the oldies.
Thank you, Philip. Well, Robert, you said you wanted to do it, you said you had it in you, and you really wanted to try, although you were finding it a bit difficult. You've done it. How do you feel?
Oh, feels great. Obviously, just delighted to get through. I think, the less said about my performance probably is the better, because I wasn't happy at all with my first ball. As Phil says, it was a bit of a game of two halves, and I thought, particularly in one direction, Phil was getting to the jack first, so that's something I've got to think about going into the final.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Once again, cracking game. I'm going to let you both go and rest, and I'll see you later in the final. Thank you very much, gentlemen.